Boys, we got another one. A 19. We got to get that part, and there just isn't much room in there for my big old beaters, that's for sure. All you square body people out there will probably just freak out when you see what I'm going to do, but ORC is going to see if I can get industrious today. Yes, you too can own this 1977 Chevrolet C10 Cheyenne pickup. Welcome to RCindustry. Well, hey, it's Rick here, and we're back for another exciting episode of RCindustry. ORC is going to see if I can get industrious today. I did want to answer a question that I kind of got on some comments about when we put the door, or doors, because now the other one's on the other side, on the truck. Because, you know, definitely it's off of a 77, but you can tell that there's quite a difference in the color here. So, and the question was, why didn't you paint the door before you put the door on? Well, that's a good question. Because I'm not going to paint it. This truck's name is Blue Brown, in case you haven't heard that. And so you've got to have some blue and you've got to have some brown to have Blue Brown. Okay, enough of that nonsense. Anyway, today we're going to try to get a tack in this that works, because the tack does not work in this. We've talked about that off and on, you know, for the last, you know, however many videos. And the factory heat gauge thing is obviously not very accurate, because I think this thing was getting hot. I flushed the radiator out. It seems to be okay now, but I really don't know what the temperature is. I've got a 170 thermostat in it, but I was using my infrared camera on it, and that thing was like 220 degrees. That's a bit hot. So, come along and let's see if we can get that fixed. Show you more. Okay, kind of what I'm talking about here today is I'd like to, you know, this doesn't work. And there might be a fix for it. I don't know what that fix is. All you square body people out there will probably just freak out when you see what I'm going to do. But I'm going to cut that out of there, and I'm going to put this tack in there because I know this one works. And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to do the best to do the same thing here. See if I can get that to focus in. Because that gauge, all it ever does is go up to that first mark. I don't care how hot it gets. So that thing ain't working right. This one appears to be working right. Let me get over here where you can see them better maybe. And the oil pressure, I'm assuming sometimes it shows like 30 or 40 pounds. You know, when you first start it up, it gets over here towards 60. So that's kind of normal for, you know, as the engine gets warmer, especially one that's wore out like this one. So I'm assuming that's somewhat accurate. And this appears to be okay. The thing that kind of tells me that, let me get over here a little better. That thing right there, that's got some lights down here that come on when you are driving this vehicle. One of them says brake light or brakes, and the other one says four-wheel lock. Well, that just leads me to believe that the reason some of this doesn't work in here is probably this is not the right dash cluster for this truck. And one of the other clues for that, not only because the tack doesn't work, and I mean, I've got it unplugged from the distributor and it still just spins around. So, and there's all kinds of little electronic, you know, resistors and stuff all mounted in there, and so something's not right. But one of the things that kind of tells me or clues me in that this is probably not the original cluster, even though this truck was ordered with a tachometer. We verified that with the build sheet or build tag over there. But the fact that this plastic cover on the dash does not have wood grain on it. As you can see, you know, it's got that perforated plastic look that's painted black or whatever. That's more of a that's more of a Bonanza kind of dash. I mean, I've had a bunch of these old Chevys, and the Bonanzas usually they had this, and this was usually painted silver back in here on these parts. So this is what a Cheyenne dash pad looks like. It's got this simulated fake wood grain. So obviously this one does not have that. And the door panels would have had that little strip along them too, which I have the original door panel for here, and it does have this little strip. And it even says Cheyenne, I think. I can't remember for sure. Of course, I don't have a door panel for this side. We've talked about that before. So I'm going to have to do something there because that thing is sharp. So before all you purists get real, excited and start sending the hate mail, this thing is all hacked up anyway. So I think if I put this tachometer in that area, it'll look pretty cool. I mean, it's gonna, at least I can see it when I'm driving down the road, and I can hook a light up to it so I can see it at night. And the same thing with the temperature gauge. I think the temperature is kind of important to monitor personally. Idiot lights like are in, like my Oldsmobile over here, for example. It just has an idiot light that tells you when it gets hot. Well, that's a little bit late usually. So with that being said, let's get busy and tear into this dash and, see if we can get something accomplished anyway. Show you more. Okay, well that finally came off of there. This thing is no good for nothing. And I pulled this out. Now, this thing plugs on the back of this, and it's got coil, 12 volt, and ground. And so that coil wire is brown, and if you go up under the hood, the one that plugs into the coil, which I have unplugged right now, is brown. So perhaps that's the same wire. I really don't know. But it should give us our 12 volts on that pin and a ground. And that's all we really need for this, other than the one wire is for a light. So, yeah. So anyway, that kind of came out of there. I don't know how this one's going to go, so we're going to give that a shot and see what happens. Show you more. Okay, well, I know you can't see in here too well, but this is the bracket off of that tachometer. And I really don't want to cut this up in case I want to put it in something else. So it'll mount right there. So what I'm going to do is take my awl here, and I'm going to heat that up, poke a hole in this plastic, and then we're going to run a screw in there to hold this over here, and then all of this will go down in there. So that's the plan. Let's see if it works. Plans sometimes don't work. I don't know if any of you run into that, but. Well, hey, sorry for the interruption in today's video, but I wanted to take this short opportunity to let you know about Shop RCindustry. Yes, you can go to Shop RCindustry and you can get you this trucker's hat. Order online today. We also have shirts, white, gray, and black. And wintertime is coming, so get you a hoodie. We appreciate any purchase you make on Shop RCindustry. You can go to the About section in your phone, scroll down to the very bottom and click on that tab and it'll take you right there. All the proceeds are going back into the builds here at RCindustry. Here at RCindustry, we're making it just like brand used, baby. And now, back to your regularly scheduled video. Go. All right. Turn that off a little bit. Okay. We are ready to see if this is going to work. Show you more. Okay, I know there's no real good way to get you guys in here, so I apologize for that, but this right here is what we got to hook into. And we've got our ends down here already put on. This one's not put on, that's the light. And I'm going to see if these dash lights will light it up enough. If they don't, then we'll hook that up later. So all of this is going to slip back in there. And we've got to see then if we can get a screw ran into this mounting bracket, which this should work right here. This is the one of the screws that was holding the tack in, the original tack in to start with. So I'm hoping that this will go in there, and it acts like it's going to, so that's good. Put this on a little ratchet here. Tighten this down. Okay. Now we need to run our wires through there, and then we got to run our wires through this little locking doogie bopper. So, but let's start with these first. Plenty of wire. Plenty. Too much plenty, probably, but hey. I really wish there was a better way for you to see all this, but I'm kind of limited on my, I ain't got no cameraman, standing off over here in the distance or nothing like that. So anyway, most of you know what I'm talking about. So let's get this down in here. So that's how that's going to set. Now let's feed through this little piece here so we can tighten that down, or at least that's what the plan is. Most of you have put in a tachometer before. I mean, this ain't nothing new. You might not have butchered one up like this in your Chevrolet, but I mean, hey. Let's go right on up in here. There's what that. We got to get that all pulled back through there. And there just isn't much room in there for my big old beaters, that's for sure. Yeah, come on now. Let's play friendly. Ooh, boy, that's tough. Let me see if I can get my hand down underneath. Show you more. Okay, let's see if that thing works. I got them plugged into them pins down there. All right, that works. Now, let's see if we can figure out something with this. Show you more. Okay, well, again, I apologize for the camera work here. There's just not a very good place to put the camera. So this piece is what goes on next. And it's reflective so that the light shines up into these gauges. So this gauge that we're putting in has got a light on it, the same as our tack over here does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this so that that gauge will mount into this piece of metal. Then we're going to run, I popped the clips out, which are these little things here on the back of that printed circuit boardy kind of whatever that's considered. So I popped those out, and we'll put those with the gauge and save it, because I think the gauge is probably good. But somewhere between here and up front where the wiring is, since this has all been modified, it doesn't work. So, and I think a manual gauge is probably better. Even though it's made in China, it's hopefully better. So one of these three holes should accommodate our wire to go through there, or not our wire, but our gauge. The end of our gauge. We'll have to make it a little bigger, but we can move this stuff on the back side here and manipulate that enough to get it through there, I'm pretty sure. So that's what we're going to do anyway. So I'm hoping that that's the case. So anyway, yeah, we'll make that so we can get that heat sink and the piece that screws into the block and all that, and get that through there. So so let me get this cut up, and we'll go from there. Show you more. Okay, so I used my step drill bit, and I drilled a hole right here, because it would be nice if it would go right out here, but it can't, because that printed circuit board lays back in there, and that's got all of the stuff running for all these other gauges that appear to be working. So I went in right below it, and I think we can you can't make that turn real sharp, because you can't pinch this, because this has got a fluid in it that actually sends the temperature sensing in this end down here, this piece right here, this little bulb, and then it comes up here and reacts to this gauge. So that's how that kind of works. The old thermostats in houses, before you had electric thermostats, were all activated that same way. So let's see if we can get that all put down in there. All right, show you more. Okay, so I wound up having to take and unmounting this on the back side in order to get enough room for that capillary tube to not be bent. So and as you can see, I kind of hacked around on it to get that gauge through there, but this thing here will cover that up. Now, something I do have to do to this is I have to modify this hole so that that gauge will stick through there. So I am going to do that. Yeah, I know I'm going to be hacking it all up, but this thing is all busted up, and this is all broken. Someone's already been in here and cut on all of that, and it's not any good anyway, guys. So I'm just trying to make it so I can use it. All right, show you more. All right, so we got all that put in. It's hard to see what it looks like here, but there you go. I think that'll be fine. I mean, some hackery, but hey. And we're going to hack this part up later with the radio installation. But now we got to get that part installed in here someplace. Ultimately, I'd like to have it up there at the thermostat, but I think this is the where it goes into the head. So that's probably the shortest distance between there and there. So I guess maybe we'll go in that. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Of course, by the time I see this, it'll be too late. So I guess let's get started on that. Show you more. Did I mention that we only got, what, 45 days left or 40 days left till the No Name Nationals? So you know, I haven't even taken this thing on a road trip yet, so hopefully we get this water temp gauge put in where we can monitor things a little better. We're going to take her for a little spin. But all right, let me pull this apart, see if we can get that through there. Show you more. Okay, well, we got that put in and routed up and around and down that way. We got to get a rubber bushing down there, but before I put that in, I want to start it up and verify it's going to work. So let's just do that. Show you more. Well, let's kind of wait and see if it's going to warm up. Show you more. Well, as you can see, it ain't moving yet. Well, she's beginning to come up a little bit. It's about 170, about 175. Let's take it around the block and see what happens. Show you more. Well, she's hold the same. I went around the block. It's about 175, 180, something like that. Well, it'll burn out. Today, I just kind of wanted to tell you about, we're going to start some memberships on the channel. If you want to join, you can. Level 1 is the show you more level, and that's the lowest level you can get in on. And you're going to get early access to all the videos, and you're going to get priority answers on your comments. And we're going to have, you know, loyalty badges. So you'll have all that kind of stuff if you're into that. And level 2 is called Just Like Brand Used, baby. And you're going to get all of the 3 things that I already mentioned. Plus, you'll get membership shout-outs. So if you want to join, please feel free to do that. Well, I still don't see any leaks under here, and it never got over 180. So, I don't know. Maybe flushing the radiator out helped. I don't know. I know one thing, it's getting hot. It's almost 90 degrees out, and I'm sweating. So I think that's about all we're going to do today on this one. You know, I got to fix that garden hose over there. That thing's messed up. I'm going to cut the end of it off, I guess, and put a new end on there or something. I don't know. Nothing lasts forever. I've only had that thing 10 years. Well, that stupid air compressor. That stupid air compressor. That thing kicks on every time I'm recording. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying before we got rudely interrupted. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this little video of me hacking up this thing, but at least I got a tack in there now that works, and it looks like we got a temperature gauge that's working. Now, whether it's very accurate or not, I don't know. For those of you who've watched my channel for years, you probably saw all of the crustychrysler stuff that I had, and I had one of those cheap Chinese gauges in it, and it worked fairly good, but in the winter time that gauge would just never read until it really got warmed up. I mean, it must have had to heat all of that stuff in that capillary tube. I mean, or else it was they didn't put some kind of a liquid in there that, you know, back in the day, you know, they used mercury in those, but you know, that hasn't been for years, since I was a kid probably. So anyway, I don't know what was in that one, but cold weather, it wouldn't read for nothing. This one seems to be working, so I didn't look and see what country this one was made in. I tried not to look, so I just bought it. It was the cheapest one they had down at O'Reilly's. So anyway, it looks like it's working. We got to get the stereo put in this thing. We got to finish our body work on the other side. We got some Bondo to sand and some priming to do over there, and then we got to get some painting done. And hopefully, we're going to go to a car show this coming weekend, because I haven't been to one yet this year with any of these junk piles. And they always get a lot of good stares, you know, because all the purists are out there in their lawn chairs, you know how that is and everything. And you come driving up in one of these babies, you know, they get you get a lot of heads turning, and sometimes they're turning away because they can't believe it. But anyway, whatever. I've blabbed long enough, so anyway, if you are into channel membership, you can certainly go join the channel. There's a few videos on there that nobody else gets to see but whoever joins, and we're going to be making some more of those. You can also go down in the About section and click on Shop RCindustry. I think we already had a commercial about that earlier on. But you can certainly buy some, you know, some hats and t-shirt. Not this t-shirt. This was last year's t-shirt. But this year's design you can get. And anyway, and I think there's some hoodies on there too, which I'm probably going to get one of those myself for winter. So anyway, as I said earlier, appreciate you coming along. Be sure and like and subscribe, ring the bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling, all that kind of stuff. Now that bell, if you go up there and you can pick what you want, if you want all the videos or if you just want members only videos or whatever you want, you can click and then it'll let you know and identify you. You can even set it up on your smartphone so it tells you in the middle of the night you got a video to watch, if you're into that kind of thing. So anyway, as always, we're making it just like brand used here, baby. Run, Tallulah, run!
Hi, baby.